Hey YouTube, it's Sean, and we're going to service this generator, and it's ugly, but it's reliable, and there is really no point in cleaning it, you know, and pressure washing it and making it beautiful, because it sits in the shed and it waits till we need it. But it is going to get service to be reliable. That's the point, you know, making sure it's got fresh gas. You know, you got to filter up in the tank. You've got change the oil. You know, all the things the generator needs. Making it pretty does not make it put out power any better. I'm not going to make this thing pretty, but the oil did need to be changed, because I don't know if you've watched my videos, but that's the oil from the last winter of 21. So we're getting this fresh for another winter. So I did get sent this. Hang on one sec. Carburetor. Got all the things out of the box that I got to put over here so we don't lose. Okay, we did get sent this carburetor, folks. Quite a long time back. It's a tri-fuel. Okay, another tri-fuel. Yes, I know you don't want to see this video. Sure you do. All right, this is an upgraded version, and I'll show you what I mean by upgraded. All right. They make, instead of having the orange valve, they made a screw. You could set your mixture, okay? That's something the other one didn't have, okay? They did include a steel, a braided line that goes down to your fuel shutoff, which the other one didn't have, and this would just sit and vibrate continuously, and eventually it would crack the line. It looks like a decent deal, okay? It's got the purge it feels better, you know, spring-wise. We're going to set this up on gasoline and get it started. Then we're going to try to propane it, okay? So, what we need to do is put that in that hole right there. All right, so hang on one sec. And I also have to say that they shipped it with a brass valve for your propane inlet. I mean, and usually the brass valve for the propane inlet is alongside the carburetor up here. On the other, this one seems to be a lot better. Let's see how much a lot better. I don't know. It looks better. I've been a mechanic for 35 years, and this looks like more legit, you know. Let's see. Oh, another thing. When you ever get one of these Chinese carburetors, no matter brand new, you ever take them apart? Those Phillips screws on both sides of your butterflies, choke side and your throttle side, just take a Phillips screwdriver and make sure they're tight, because you know where they were made, and that may prevent a big deal. Alright, so hang on one sec, and I'm going to give the camera to a kid, and we're going to poke that right in there.
Where am I pointing it?
Oh, you're just going to be backed up a little bit. This is going to be unedited, folks. You don't need to get right up in there, bud. Just you can back up quite a lot. Yeah, back up quite a lot. That's a good camera. What we're going to do right now, focus over here. I'm just going to take and put this impact on number 1, and that'll give me enough torque to actually make sure these little Phillips screws, yep, Just a little tiny nudge. You can do it with hand screwdriver too. That one was loose, that one was tight. Okay, same thing on this side. That's tight. That one's just a little tiny loose, but that one loose screw could tear that engine up. Okay, so I want to make sure all the screws around the regulator are tight. That one wasn't. Just a little bump is all they need. That one wasn't. And that one wasn't. And just make sure all the screws are tight, because you know how quality control from overseas is. So there you go. We got it all tightened out. Okay, that's fuel. I don't like these spring clamps. I'm telling you, I'm not a big fan of these. They've been making them since the 70s. And they're not very good. I mean, as far as... I'm going to leave it on there, but I'm not a big fan of these spring clamps. The one you tighten, the stainless steel clamps with a screwdriver, much better. I mean, because like right there, see, with the clamp on, I didn't even have to hardly effort. No effort at all. I could pull it off. So I'm probably not gonna... I mean, that's... You can pinch them with your fingers and pull it off. That's not... Okay, let's not do that. Let's ditch these. I don't like them. We'll reuse this, and we won't reuse their fuel line. Alright, so we'll be right back. Hey folks, one of the most important things you could do is you have an isolator or an insulator between your head and your carburetor. This has to be cleaned excessively well. It has a channel in it. It directs air. You've got old gasket material. Some of them, like mine, has a port, and that's for your auto choke shut. I take a little piece of tubing and block that off because I don't like those at all. They're not reliable. But I'm going to replace the tubing this time. It's been on there for a few years. So what I do, pretty simple. And you get yourself a little wire brush, dollar store again. Clean the surfaces really well. It's very important to, clean the surfaces, because if there's one little peephole of a leak in this isolator or insulator, you'll notice a difference in your rich or lean condition. And most of the time it'll just run pretty janky. Preventative maintenance, just what we're doing today is we're going to see how good this carburetor is that we got sent. We're doing everything we can to make that possible, like prove it to be a good carburetor. Find it to be a good carburetor, I will leave a link. So we've got to clean that up for sure. Every time you take this off, clean the gaskets well. Clean the surface well. There we go. That's ready to roll. Another thing is, never drop these or hit them or bump them. They are like a very porous material. It's like it's like glass, phenolic, Bakelite, you know, that kind of deal. Do not, yeah, don't go there. So let's go back there, see what we can do. All right, the next thing you want to do, folks, is with your new carburetor, always buy the carburetor that comes with the manual choke. And I'll show you what I mean. Some of them come with these auto choke apparatuses. This is one off of an older generator, the one over there. I'm telling you, these will cause you trouble and headaches. They cause vacuum leaks through that right there, that their vacuum diaphragm. This one came with this setup, kind of setup. Same setup. I could put this on it, but I'm not gonna. Don't ever, Honda never used those. They use these. And this is the way to go. So, install your little screw. And this makes it to where, with the little screw, you can go around that. If you don't have the screw, the hole for the screw, what I do is drill them and bore. That hole right there is 3 millimeter, okay? And then that's where your screw goes. And that's all you got to do. You can do that with hand tools, a little hand drill. Alright, so that's the next thing you want to do, is avoid the vacuum leaks, because that's one of the main causes of generators running and surging, and it's vacuum leaks, and those are a big problem. So, alright, then you got your new gaskets. Let's put this on there. We'll be right back. Okay, folks, we got our preliminarily plugged in, you know, plumbed up. I'm gonna put a filter here, and I'm gonna probably go one size bigger fuel line. Don't know that, but what I'm saying is preliminarily plugged, you know, plumbed up. A lot of these things will surge. These sponsored carburetors, they're not really sponsored. They're just somebody gets a hold of you and says you want one, and I'm really reluctant. This is the third time. Let's see if this one's good. And if it is, let's hook it up to propane. Alright, so here's the deal. We just put oil in it, brand new oil. We got rid of that. Put some brand new oil in it. Oil's been swapped out. We're not going to try the electric start. I'm going to leave the key just in the on position, and I'm going to pull start it. And we're going to run it off of gasoline. Yep, we're just going to run her off gasoline. So what I'm going to do is turn the gas on right now and let that fill the bowl. And we're going to give Katie the camera. We're going to yard on it, and we're going to see how she runs. I'm not going to load test it like this. I just want to know if the carburetor is going to run the generator without surging. So hang on one sec. Right, here we go. We're choked. Fuel's on. Gonna pull the tail. me just barely hold my hand in front of it, that would represent your air cleaner that goes here. And that smoothed it out. So on gasoline, it's perfect. All right, so let's shut the gasoline off right here. Let's start it up and let it run again till it's dead. Till it's out of fuel. And then I want to get a propane apparatus and we're going to try out propane, okay? Got to turn it on, right? She's plumb out of gas, folks. There is no gasoline. It's turned off. Now we're going to go and plumb in our propane. So let me get the regulator set up, a tank over here, and let's give it a try. We'll be right back.
Alright, folks. We got her going. Now listen. Since your end fell off, this is how you adjust your voltage. The voltage on that has not been adjusted since it was new. So this is how you do it.
Alright folks, now that we've got our voltage adjusted, go ahead and I'm just smelling for propane, because a lot of these, you know what, if you've ever bought a conversion, when you shut the generator down, you want to smell for propane. I don't smell propane. Now listen. Give me the camera, bud.
Here you go.
Alright, now this is the important part. You cannot just hook your tank directly to that little regulator right here, okay? To this. Can't do it. You have to have one of these. Alright, you have to have a regulator outside of it. I use a 5 to 35 pound one, and it has to be 0 to 35 pounds. In other words, it doesn't start at 5. That way you can adjust your knob, sort of like a air compressor, okay? But that's what got me here. And I hooked it up correctly. I had to make a fitting for the center. This fitting here, I wasn't going to go over and spend $8 on one. I have a lot of brass fittings, and that worked fine. Brazed it up, turned it in the lathe a little bit. No leaks. Did the bubble test. Use those clamps. Do not use those spring clamps. Go over there and get yourself some like Gates clamps. Shut your propane off when you're not using it though. I do need to tell you that. What else is there? Okay, and I did hook it up to electric start, and it fires right up. Okay, now the next test is, will it pull a load without stumbling? So what I'm going to do, I actually already did it. I hooked up my welder right about there. Okay. Hooked up my welder right here. We're not using the 110, we're using the actual, yep, and we're going to pull the crud out of this thing. Alright? Alright. So I'm going to give the camera back to Katie. Hang on one sec, and now we have a propane gasoline conversion. Hang on one sec. Let's do some welding. Alright YouTube, it's ready for the moment of truth. We're going to try it. We're going to actually do some real welding. Let me fix this real quick. Make sure it's mounted down tight. Wherever you set your regulator, where it runs, lever. Okay. So I want to put my welding jacket on, maybe. It's 80 some degrees out back here, but we're going to put it on anyway, just to protect my arms. Alright, let's fire her and shouldn't have choked her, I guess. Interesting. Had her running a second ago. Maybe I shut that down too far. Let me, okay. The way you set your regulator, let's do this first, okay? You don't want to hear it or smell it, okay? So the way I set mine is, you've got an arrow usually, or it tells you increase or decrease. So you want to not hear it running through this regulator here. You do not want to hear it running through there or hissing. But so you increase very slowly. Okay. I heard it, and I'm backing it off right about there. All right. I'm going to tighten my jam nut down. I'm going to leave this wrench up here. Hopefully don't need it again, but yep, I smell and see and hear no hissing. Okay. So, now let's try it. That's well. It off. I'm going to take my jacket off. Okay? Don't stop the recording. I'm going to take my jacket off. Let's let it set for a second. But I just pulled a whole lot of ampy out of there. And that regulator seems to be good for that. Welded hard on that. I'm going to take my welding jacket off. Actually, I don't want it out here. I'm going to take a minute, guys, and we're going to restart that. We're going to actually see if it works. Because there's one thing to get it running, and there's another thing to get it running and keep it running, okay? So let's just give it a shot. All right. That did a good beat. I mean, I went past 2 times. That was two passes. Just used this old tire iron. Let her sit there and cool off. But, all right, I'm going to try starting it with the pole starter not the electric. So all I'm going to do is turn the key on. She don't want to do that. Oh, I know what's going on. Okay, we're going to have to do the electric. I can. Okay, I may have to bring the camera around here. This valve right here is for load. I'm just going to turn it a little bit, but I plan on making a valve for this because this is, I think it keeps moving. Anyway, let's start it with the electric starter now. Alright, it does start with the electric starter. I'd like it to start with the pull starter. That would be very, very, very good. There should be no reason why it won't. Bring the camera around here.
Okay.
This could be a part of it. Another thing. Sorry about that welding helmet, bud. Hang on 1 second. Let me get a screwdriver. Telling you, if you just think this is a bolt-on item, it's not. You have some adjustments to do. This is one of them I'm going to do, and the other one is right here. Let me see what it is set at right here. Approximately. There's 1, 2, 3 turns, okay? I'm going to shut my propane up off the tank here. I'm going to shutting it off so that we don't hose the world down. And I think this is probably something that I'm going to have to put a stiffer spring would be good. Okay. And I just see it's a ball end, okay? Not a big deal. This has to go, okay? This little flimsy hose with the spring clamps, okay? You want to talk about a leaking proposition. If you can get it off with your fingers, it's no good. Okay? That's part of it. Okay? So, I think probably, let's try stretching that spring a little bit, give it a little more tension. I've been doing this a lot of years, and some of the littlest things make a big difference. And I'm telling you, those spring clamps that are no good. Okay, so let's tighten her down. Oh yeah, that already feels a lot better. And we'll go just barely, and then back it off 3 turns. Great. Right about there. 1. Back. Come on, Dad. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to give it a little smidge more, but we're going to connect a new hose from here to here with some actual clamps, and we'll be back. Actually, what we will do, we're going to use this hose, and we're going to actually put some real clamps on it, you know, just, yeah, let's do that. No reason not to. I know this hose this Chinese hose is not great, but that is Jello soft hose, and you could tell me I hooked this propane up wrong. It doesn't matter if you've got that in line, right? So what I'm going to do is try to correct things here a bit. First thing we got to do is get a driver. You can't use that little screwdriver, so I'm going to get my little driver. Where's my little driver? Can you grab that driver?
Yeah.
That would be great. Perfect. Alright. I mean, this isn't good hose at all. It's like Jello. Meh. All the way up there. If you've got a propane leak, no matter where it is, it's bad. See this hose right here? These are common to go out, and look, it's Jello. It's just junk, and this generator is not that old. I've got to order some of those apparently. At least one, right? All right, so I'm gonna leave it in there because it's all I got. But see this hose and your fuel hole line, that's, you know, it's not oil resistant apparently, right? So let's see if we can get her started. What I'm going to do, turn the fuel on right here. I'm not adjusting the regulator. I'm just going to turn the fuel on right there. Okay? I'm going to give it a little burp. Okay? I'm going to open this just a little bit and I will adjust that. Let's give it a whirl. Watch your ears, bud.
Go for it.
What this is for, though. And here's proof. If you shut it off, it'll die. Go. Running rich right there. Working her. Yep. Come on. Okay. Let's start her back up. Watch your ears, it could backfire. Generators don't hold idle. It's a good idea to high and low end, just like any carburetor. if that makes a difference. We got to loosen this just a little bit up. That hose is garbage. We're going to the hardware store and getting some decent hose, and this is brand new. This Chinese hose is garbage. We know this. So, and so are their clamps. These spring clamps are garbage. If you can do this with your fingers, it's not holding any. No. Get yourself some stainless steel Gates clamps, or some stainless steel clamps. Done. I think 10 of them is $10. All right, so let's try starting it again. Go ahead and stand up there, bud. This time I'm going to yard that rope. I want to see if I can get it started without the battery. Turn it on. Now let's give it a little bit of yolky yolk. Nope. Nope. Okay. Hang on one sec. Let's take that choke off. Give it a burp. Okay. Nope. Okay, well. Okay, let's wrap this video up. In my opinion, I like the carburetor. I would buy it. Only if I have an electric start generator. Do not try to get one if you only have the recoil rope. Definitely don't ask questions about the regulator. You have to get a 0 to 35-pound regulator. I don't even think you need 35. 0 to, I think 20 would be good. And you have to, don't think you can just buy one of these and bolt it on and all life's good. There are some adjustments, some major stuff, and people talk to me about my some of my videos on making propane generators run on propane in the past, saying safety issues and whatever, but unless you modify this, you have the same issues. You'll have the same exact issues. And there you go. That's my 2 cents. Would I buy it? Yes, I think I would. Yes, I would. I'd buy this. I'd buy this carburetor. And I will leave a link below. But you saw what I had to do. If you have questions, I'll try to answer them. But I'm guaranteeing you, come on around here, bud. I'm guaranteeing you, you're going to have to replace some hoses. You cannot replace. You cannot use this fuel line. This is the propane feed. That's bubble gum, okay? Here's the propane line you're supposed to be running. Pane line, not bubble gum, right? And the fuel line they give you, well, we already went there. Get yourself some good Tygon. Not that. Get yourself some Tygon. Right there, all right? That's all I got to say. Runs on gasoline and propane now. And I got a good quick disconnect here. I can disconnect here and put my tank and my regulator away. But this is propane line, this is not. That's the issue I have with this carburetor is the quality of the rubber products, okay? I am going to make one of these too. And I'm going to make it with a knob, like knurled knob, to where you can adjust, because this is for your load. And not all of us have a screwdriver. I'm also going to put a heavier spring to where it doesn't move under vibration. Would I buy the carburetor? You betcha. I'll leave a link below. It is Comes in a little box like this, and I do believe you can get this for a pretty reasonable price. So that's what we know. I'm giving it the fairest. I mean, I don't need to lie to y'all. I can do this modification without them, but I do like the carburetor. It has potential. Would I buy it? You betcha. I would buy it because it's got all the bones that you need, and all you have to do is basically get some hose and do some adjustments. But it's not a bolt on, you know, you cannot just bolt it on and go done deal. Had this generator a couple 3 years, and it's got us through some winters, but there's what we know. And love y'all. Take care. God bless you. Bye bye.